King's Hall, Belfast, comes tonight's now, this amazing crowd in this famous arena begin to stamp and they begin to sing, and in a moment they'll be cheering when McAuley, the champion, makes his way to the ring. And I suspect Rodolfo Blanco won't quite believe the amount of noise they make. The champion walks into a wall of sound. There is no atmosphere on a big fight night quite like the atmosphere in the King's Hall, Belfast. Nothing in the world quite resembles it. The champion looks cool, but you can see already that they've worked some grease around the eyebrows. He's been cut there before in big fights, and clearly they must worry in case it happens again. Well, no champion could ask for a better reception from his supporters than that. McAuley, who comes from Larne in County Antrim, and that's about 20 miles north of Belfast. And now we prepare for the national anthems. Both men already gloved up, and they'll be ready to go once the formalities are over. Colombia national anthem. Blanco sang, McAuley stood to one side and never took his eyes off him.
Blanco this time.
Was led by our MC tonight, Danny Small. McAuley's third defense of this IBF 8-stone World Championship.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the main event of the evening, sponsored by Smirnoff, in conjunction with Eastwood Promotions and National Promotions. 12 3-minute rounds of boxing for the IBF Flyweight Championship of the world between Dave Boy McAuley and Rodolfo Blanco. At the weigh-in, Blanco weighed 7 stone 13½ pounds. McAuley weighed 8 stone even.
The two fighters prowling their corners during the announcements, and now the moment comes to come to the center of the ring. The referee from Puerto Rico, Valdemar Schmidt, who's officiating in his 57th world title fight tonight, either as referee or judge. In fact, many years ago, he refereed the world title fight between Ken Buchanan of Scotland and Ismael Laguna of Puerto Rico. So here's a man of considerable experience to take charge of these two little men who may have to go 12 rounds to do battle for the Flyweight Championship. And McAuley, well, he's been in some hard fights, but he's come through them. And he's Ireland's first World Flyweight Champion since the late Rinty Monaghan, more than 40 years ago. McAuley takes the center of the ring instantly and lets Blanco work around him. Blanco wearing this pair of white trunks that are half as long as he is. Both men 29. In fact, Blanco is about 6 months older than McAuley. Well, no explosive start by the challenger. A little left from McAuley. Puts Blanco off balance. At least I think that's all it was. That certainly wasn't off balance, the left hook. That hurt the challenger. So the famed left hook of McAuley gets to work very early in this fight, in under 2 minutes. Well, Blanco started by working at long range, and he'll be keener than ever now to keep it at long range. Well, it was an innocuous-looking left hook from McAuley, but it seemed to have a profound effect on Blanco. And two more go into the body. One of them looked suspiciously low from McAuley. Blanco looking quite unconcerned and still trying to push the left out into the face of McAuley in this opening round. And McAuley getting over the top of the lead with his own left hook. And that is a pretty brisk start to this fight. So, McAuley makes a good start. That little left hook that he produced early, which I thought put Blanco off balance, may have been rather harder than I thought. And the second one that I saw most certainly hurt the Colombian. Maybe we can see that again now. This is the second left hook, and it certainly staggered him. That was the one. Just watch the legs. Hinged, unhinged at the knees. And that found him. And it was noticeable after that that Blanco didn't come forward too often and tried to keep it at long range behind the left hand. Just a little mark under the right eye of McAuley. But that shouldn't give him any trouble at all. And the two this time advance very slowly to the center of the ring. Once again, McAuley takes the central position, which means that Blanco will have to move round him and will have to make that much more effort. McAuley in his earlier days as a pro used to be quite a tear-away fighter. When he picked up, he's coming bandage working loose off the glove of McAuley. That's the tape that's put round the wrist of the gloves. It's usually put round there to cover any extraneous lacing that might do some damage. So a neat surgical job done by Bernardo Checa, the Panamanian who now trains Dave McAuley. This is the first world title fight McAuley's had since his old trainer Eddie Shaw died this year. Shaw wasn't in his corner for the last one here against Curtis, but he was in the arena for that fight that night, although he was desperately ill. Nice, neat little short left. Jolts into the challenger's face and brings him up short as he tries to get inside. And so far, Blanco hasn't unleashed too much that's looked very dangerous, although he has marked McAuley under the right eye. McAuley complaining to the ref about something, holding maybe. And suddenly this fight has opened up considerably. And they're not thinking too much about defense now. Both men trying to attack. McAuley has made a very positive start to this defense, gaining in confidence as he goes on winning these fights. and now beginning to put lots of punches together, bringing the right into play now as well as the left. Blanco's got an accurate left jab. How much force it carries, I'm not sure. Oh, a good right. That one carried force. And as so often before, McAuley finds himself on the floor. 8 times he's been down in his professional career. That's the 9th. And how much has that shaken him up in the second round? So suddenly the right hand of Blanco pops over and certainly had some balls, and another windmilling right catches McAuley, who needs now to tighten his defenses and start moving around this ring. All thoughts of attack now gone. He must defend. Oh, he's got him. I think the title's going. That's a big swinging right hand, and McAuley looks badly hurt to me. And he's in the Colombian's corner taking the compulsory 8 count. And there's the bell to end a drastic, almost disastrous second round for McAuley, who was carried, lifted off his feet and carried back to his seat by Bernardo Checa, the trainer. He couldn't wait for McAuley to get there. He bodily lifted him to the corner. Well, the right hand did the damage from this Colombian. Just when I said I don't know how much force was in the left, that was the right that produced that dramatic knockdown. And there was another windmilling right hand later that didn't do Dave any good. This is a repeat of the same punch we've just seen. And you can see for yourself how close McAuley came to losing his title there and then. And that was the second knockdown. So now, can McAuley do what he did against Fidel Bassa and come back into this fight? Referee Schmidt wiping some grease off the face of McAuley, who understandably now looks disturbed, and he knows that this right hand of Blanco's carries real danger, and the challenger is going for a third round win. McAuley now will need all his skill and certainly all his courage to survive. He's got him again. Overarm, right hand punch. No defense against it, whatever. And he's up very early. He knows he gets a standing 8, but maybe it would have been wiser to have taken it down instead of up. And McAuley looks to the wrong corner as Blanco comes towards him. I don't think McAuley quite knows where he is now. It all must be some hideous blur. Well, Blanco's won his last 9 fights inside the distance, and he looks like doing this one as well. No respite for McAuley as he tries to fight his way back off the left, off the ropes with a left hook. And he's getting the left hook into the head and into the body of Blanco, but it doesn't seem to make any difference. And Blanco now is expending his energy quite recklessly in the attempt to get this done in this round. And the crowd in the King's Hall now simply willing McAuley to stay on his feet. Still a minute of this round to go. Good left hook from McAuley. Seems to be coming back into it a bit. This man's powers of survival are really quite remarkable. He showed it against Bassa, and he's showing it again here. And again the left hook whips into the head of Blanco. And McAuley has got all his fighting instincts back. He looks alert and sharp again, amazingly. Two solid left jabs thump into the head of McAuley. We're coming towards the end of this third round. Well, what a round that was too. Absolutely typical of some of these McAuley fights. Here's a man who seems to know his way back from adversity. Remarkable performance. So many fighters would have been beaten by now. He's been down 3 times, but he's still there. And in fact, not only there, but he was fighting back towards the end of that round. Again, that sweeping right hand early on in the third brought more trouble for the champion. And these were the moments when McAuley came off the ropes with his left hook and almost turned the tide. I don't know how he does it, but this man is a born survivor in the ring. Only a small man, but he's got the guts of a lion. McAuley takes a deep breath as he comes off the stool for the fourth to try to salvage this fight. And this little brown nut of a man from Colombia still bobbing around in front of McAuley, unmarked. And both corners being told to tone it down by the referee. Fourth round. The challenger in the white trunks. He's come a long way to get this title, and he had it almost in his grasp in the second round. You wonder what psychological effect this comeback of McAuley's might have on Blanco, who must have thought he got the fight won, and now suddenly realizes it hasn't happened yet. Good right from McAuley, but the little man still comes towards him. McAuley still leaving his head unguarded as he moves in, trying to get his own punches to work. Blanco's not throwing the right hand too much. Having put McAuley down, what is it, 3 times with the right, you would imagine he'd be using it a lot more than he is. In fact, he's relying mostly on the left. Another good left hook from McAuley. That's the hammering. That means 10 seconds to go in the round. And the bell to end the 4th round. And we still have a fight on our hands here. And suddenly, Blanco of Colombia doesn't look quite so likely to win it, amazingly enough. An impassive little man. His expression never changes, whichever way the fight is going. 29 years old, 60 feats on the record. One of them in a world light flyweight title fight 3 years ago against Myung-Woo Yoo of South Korea, who incidentally is still the light flyweight champion of the world, the WBA champion, 3 years later. So he was a tough opponent, and he stopped Blanco in 8 rounds, but that is the only time he's ever been stopped as a pro. McAuley still taking deep breaths, knowing that the way back is going to be hard. So 1/3 of the scheduled 12 rounds has already gone by, and it's been full of action. Blanco again moving in behind the jab. Good right from McAuley, and the legs of Blanco have gone again, just like they did in the first round. And McAuley's seconds are signaling him to come on, move in, take advantage. And again, and his legs are all over the place. And McAuley looks as though he's going to pull this one out of the fire. It's almost unbelievable. The man's only been stopped once. Can McAuley do it now? And McAuley again looks over to the Colombian's corner for some reason. Blanco survives, despite 2 rocky moments. And you wonder where the next sensation is coming from. McAuley working his man over with the left hook inside, getting plenty of body punches in, which must certainly weaken the Colombian. He's looked so vulnerable when McAuley has caught him with a good punch to the head. The legs have simply turned to paper. Half a minute left of this round, round 5. And these 2 men are testing each other to the limit. Good series of punches again from McAuley's left hand. And he's finishing this round on top. And in the heat of battle, they don't hear the bell, and there's a bit of bad feeling between them as they're wrenched apart. Five rounds gone from our overhead camera. Look at those legs of Blanco's. Again, all over the shop. That was a tremendous punch. Just watch those legs. They're twitching uncontrollably. And yet, he stayed on his feet.
Corners, 10 seconds. Seconds out. Seconds out. Round 6.
Well, the last time we saw McAuley in action was on St. Patrick's night here in March this year against Louis Curtis of the United States, and he had a fairly comfortable 12-round journey there. But nobody in his right mind would call this a comfortable journey. This has been a horror trip for both of them. But so far, McAuley has not dropped the challenger, but he's coming close to it here. Blanco holding on for dear life. And yet the expression doesn't change. The initiative going one way, then the other. Well, there are moments when you think McAuley might have him, and then 15 seconds later, it's the other way round. Yet another in this series of extraordinary championship battles that McAuley gets himself involved in. Good right from Blanco. McAuley wide open to it. Took it well, but he's backed up again. And once again, the going is getting hard for the champion. And there's still a minute of this round to go. And then we'll be just halfway through the scheduled 12 rounds. McAuley grits his teeth again. Survived that little piece of excitement. And Blanco must be wondering what's holding him up. Good series of punches again from McAuley. 10 seconds from the end of this round. Well, now we're halfway through the fight, assuming it goes all the way, and there hasn't been a let-up, and it's hard to imagine that they can keep this going like this for another 6 rounds. They've been hammering each other unmercifully. McAuley's been down 3 times, came close to going down again in that last round, as we might well see again here. That was a nasty moment, and he almost went. But once again, the man's extraordinary courage held him up. The green corner working furiously to get their man out as fresh as they can for the second half of the fight. Heaven knows what thrills this fight still has in store for us. The IBF Flyweight Championship of the world, held by the man in green, and so fiercely wanted by the man in white. The crowd once again rise to their man. I doubt if they can quite believe what they've seen, because McAuley has come back from the brink of abject defeat at the start of this fight. Signs of tiredness beginning to show themselves now. Rather increased clinching. Hardly surprising the way they've gone at it. Both men now must be quite vulnerable at this stage of the fight. And one really good punch from either side here might just decide it. But some of the punching is getting a little ragged too as they tire. So much of Blanco's work now is going around the shoulders of McAuley. Good punches by Blanco. As McAuley advances on him, he's picking them up. And once again, they fight on after the bell. And that was a useful round for Blanco. He did most of the good work there. But he too is feeling the effects of this fight. The ice bag being held to the back of his head, the flat iron, the piece of steel working on the bumps on the face. And here's a little sequence of quite useful McAuley punches going through. But it wasn't typical of the round. Ice bags everywhere. The gaunt figure of McAuley advances to the centre of the ring. Blanco much slower to get there. And this championship completely in the balance. You'd have to be a brave man at this point to predict which way this might go. No, push down and complaining. No knockdown. Danger punches again from McAuley. His head seems to get in the way of all of them. So the little man from Latin America still has plenty to offer. And McAuley once again will have to work his way from behind. Very much at bay on the ropes. And for two rounds now at least, McAuley's punches haven't had quite the same effect on the man from Colombia. Good little short right from McAuley. Still has plenty of surprises, indeed shocks, for Blanco. Only 30 seconds to go in this round. Surprising when you get a good fight how quickly the rounds go by. And this is certainly a good fight. Seconds. Once again, Bernardo Checker, the Panamanian who now trains McAuley, is out there getting him back to the stool as fast as he can. Good man to have in your corner. That was a hard round again for McAuley, and this is a sample of the sort of stuff that was coming at him from the challenger. Blanco found a new lease of life here, a lot of strength, and put the champion under a lot of pressure. In he comes again. Some of these punches going around the back of the neck, over the shoulders. One or two of them are getting through. Only 4 rounds left in this fight. McAuley must be behind. Again, I find it surprising how seldom Blanco uses the right hand that caused all the trouble in rounds 2 and 3. I suppose it's possible he may have hurt it, but he seems to rely for the most part on the left. McAuley still looking for him with the left hook, which is his favourite punch and his most effective punch. But he still hasn't had the man down. The more accurate punching, I was going to say coming from Blanco, but suddenly, as he so often does off the ropes, McAuley finds the punches to get out of jail. Quite an even round, this one. Oh, what a good move. He feinted with the right and shot the left, and for the first time he's got the man on the floor. And Blanco can't believe it. That was a wonderful little shift of feet. He feinted as though he was going to bang the right in. The feet moved, and in came the left, and suddenly, for the first time in this fight, the challenger was down. And that has brought the King's Hall alight. The 9th round. What an amazing turnaround. It's worth looking at that again. Just watch the shift here from McAuley. There it is. He turned southpaw and fooled the man. Wonderful move. Let's look at it again. Worth looking at. In he goes. Went with the right foot forward and the southpaw stance. Fooled the man and got him with the left. Brilliant. That's as neat a move as you'll ever see. Where he dredged that move up from, I don't know at that stage of the fight. But it did the trick, and how. So suddenly, again, this extraordinary fight flares into action. And the King's Hall crowd now are shouting for victory. Now these are the moments where McAuley should be on his guard, because I suspect Blanco now will be very, very dangerous. As if he wasn't before. The overarm right of Blanco brought into action there. Long time since we've seen that. Blanco's mouth now quite hurt, I would think. He's licking his lips all the time. The inside of the mouth is damaged. McAuley's left eye is beginning to shut. So more trouble for the champion now in the 10th of this 12-round fight. And McAuley's left eye is looking really quite bad. It would be an absolute tragedy if this fight had to be stopped because of that. He's cut underneath the left eye now, and it's closing. And that has given Blanco new heart. Just the mere side of the damage on the face of McAuley has spurred him on. McAuley badly needs another move like he had in the last round. Because Blanco is taking this round over. And McAuley clearly must be disturbed by the damage to his face. Blanco trapped in his own corner. The bell coming up. And on they go again. They never hear the bell. We have 2 rounds to go of this amazing World Flyweight Championship. Well, I thought the fight with Belfast, the first one, was quite one of the most extraordinary fights I'd ever seen. This one is very, very near to it. Desperate work to try to keep that cut eye under control. Fortunately for McAuley, the cut is underneath the eye and not above it, but the eye is threatening to shut. And somehow, he's got to get through 2 more rounds. You'd have got long odds in the second round against this fight going this far, even knowing McAuley's capacity for survival. Even the timekeeper sounds excited as he announces the 11th. And the menacing man from Colombia advances again. His white trunks drenched in water and blood. Barney Eastwood, the manager of McAuley, urging McAuley to come forward. He can see Blanco taking the fight over at this stage. And McAuley badly needs another knockdown at this stage. Listen to the stamping. Another jolting left hand finds that injured mouth of Blanco's. Two very, very tired men. But their courage, beyond doubt. They've both been through hell in this fight and survived. It's as much as either man can do now to throw a punch. Got him. As much off balance as anything, but he was certainly caught by a good punch. He was going backwards, and the punch helped him on his way down. He's cut under the other eye now, McAuley. How this man suffers, and how he survives, I shall never know. Fourth time he's been on the floor. Round 11, only one round to come after this. Will McAuley be able to survive it? Once again, he has his back to the ropes, both literally and figuratively. Unbelievable bravery by McAuley, who was under all sorts of pressure and was still trying to fight back as the bell ended the 11th round. And I think it's going to take a miracle now to keep McAuley's championship. And this is how he went down in this round. He was backing off at the time. It was a good jolting right hand, and it took his legs from under him. He couldn't move fast enough to get out of the way. I don't suppose he even saw it coming. The champion. But for how much longer? Both eyes cut. But you can bet everything you've got that he'll come out fighting for the final round. The closing 3 minutes then of a truly remarkable fight. I'm lost in admiration for both men. Blanco's had his troubles here. He had the fight almost snatched away from him. Well, he did have the fight snatched away from him by McAuley's courage in the early rounds. He's come over that disappointment. He's been on the floor, and he's got up and put McAuley down again. What more can you ask of a challenger who may well be champion before much longer? Good jolting left hand from McAuley. You actually wouldn't put it past McAuley to pull it out even now. He's that sort of fighter. Blanco, I think, is almost out on his feet. He's just weary. Blanco looks to his corner. How much longer is this going to last? That must be what's going through his mind. Blanco keeping plenty of room between himself and the fists of McAuley. He may feel he's got it, and he only has to keep out of trouble now. McAuley just has to go looking for him. We're in the closing 60 seconds. I don't honestly think either man has the strength now to pull out a knockout punch. .30 seconds. We've seen a truly remarkable championship battle again here in Belfast tonight. It's going all the way, right down to the final bell. And there it is. They still go on fighting, even after the fight is over. Who would ever have thought that we'd hear the bell to end the 12th round when McAuley was going through all that trouble in the second, and both men being lifted now. This is the attempt, I suppose, to try to influence judges. There are 3 judges here who are scoring this fight. 2 from the United States, 1 from Denmark. My money would be on Blanco to get the decision. But McAuley's corner are hoping to convince somebody, perhaps even themselves, that he's still the champion. Well, we don't know until we get the judges' decisions.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the result of the judges. Luke Jensen scored the contest 117-113 McAuley.
Well, there's a big verdict for McAuley from the Danish judge, 117-113.
Frank Brunet scored the contest 113 McAuley, 111 Blanco.
So, McAuley has kept his title. 2 judges have already voted for him.
Judge Rocky Castellano scored the contest 115-110 McAuley.
115-110, that's a big margin. So McAuley has done it and kept his title. The judging surprises me. I felt it would go to Blanco on the strength of his early work and his strong finish. But I was wrong, and all 3 judges have given it to Dave McAuley. And I'm lost in admiration for this man's extraordinary courage. A survivor, if ever you've seen one. And you won't see too many comebacks in a fight like this man has made tonight. His 3rd defense of this IBF title. McAuley of Northern Ireland remains the flyweight champion.
Ladies and gentlemen,
still the IBF Flyweight Champion of the world, Dave McAuley, the winner on all 3 judges' cards. Dave, did you think you'd won it by such a clear margin?
I knew it was close. I knew it was close, but I was put down twice, 3 times. Whatever I'm doing, but I done more work in the rounds. The rounds he put me down and he won, but I won the rest, Jim. When I did this for Eddie Shaw's the first fight he's missed, and the young Clint Eastwood, he follows me everywhere in the world that I fight. I did it for them. They were watching me up there.
The second and third round looked fairly disastrous. You really had to call on all your reserves of courage, especially after the second.
After the second round, like, I just had to do something, and somebody up there, Eddie and Benton, like, they were looking after me. That's all I can say. And Bernardo, a great trainer. Thank you.
You really had to dig very, very deep indeed. I mean, he caught you in that second round a couple of times, and everybody thought you were gone.
You know how he caught me? I heard I thought it was a bell. It must have been someone in the crowd, and it distracted my attention. That's honest to God. I heard a sound like a bell. The next thing I ended up on the floor. It just took my attention for a split second, and I got caught by a right hand. That's not, I'm not making an excuse for getting caught. That's what happened.
So once again, the King's Hall has given us an amazing fight night. And once again, Dave McAuley has treated us to a sample of his extraordinary courage. He came back from the brink of defeat, and he convinced 3 judges that he was still the flyweight champion of the world. From Belfast, good night.
Got the ears. Who am I to talk about ears? Thanks to Bobby. Now meet a man who first pulled on the gloves 23 years ago, became Olympic heavyweight champ, and then world professional boxing champ. He lost the Rumble in the Jungle to